Hi, welcome to Cache Walks.
We're in Zagan today at Stalag Luft III, which is a World War II prisoner of war camp and the site of the Great Escape. But it's also the site of another really interesting escape that happened a little earlier. So come and see the caches we find and learn about the escapes from this prisoner of war camp.
We arrived at the museum, parked our car and went to meet Marek, the curator.
Well, Zagan today is of course a Polish town, but before the war it was Germany, and it was German town. And it was not occupied Poland, it was Germany, because old Polish-German border was about 100 kilometers from here.
Oh, okay.
So it was Germany, and this town was always military town. Typical military town, of course German military town before the war. Today Polish military town, and it's still headquarters of the biggest tank division in Poland.
Then Marek took us to see a reconstructed hut and to find out just where the prisoners lived and what facilities they had.
The corridor and the living rooms on the left and on the right. Two small rooms for the senior officers, kitchen, bathroom, toilet. This is typical original size of the POW room. So in this case you have only 3 double beds. Normally it would be 8 double beds in a room like this. In the corner the whole floor was made of wood except the corner where the big foundation was to hold the building. And this was the only way to go down. So they removed the stove using the bedboards when the stove was hot, like this. And then they removed all these tiles. They are not bricks, they are tiles. And they built kind of fake floor, kind of fake trapdoor using the same tiles. So they removed the stove, they opened the fake floor, and there was a hole and the entrance of the tunnel. That's how it was designed and built.
It must have been very difficult to dig the tunnel because of the sandy soil.
Then it was off to find our first cache. Where would you hide it?
We picked this travel bug up in Berlin, which of course was heavily involved in World War II, and we're dropping it off in Stalag Luft III, where the Great Escape and the escape under the wooden horse took place. So and it goes into a place to do with World War II.
We decided to fly a drone up so you could see around the camp. The camp's about 1 square kilometre. It's really large, and it's covered with pine trees, and there are a few dirt roads running through the area. So over to this area here is where Harry, the escape tunnel, was. We followed Marek to the entrance of the tunnel.
Thank you. Escape tunnel, and you can see plaques with all names of all from the Great Escape in different colors. You can see blue ones and black ones. Black, these who were murdered by the Gestapo. Blue ones who survived. So in this case here we can see guys from New Zealand, and you can see 4 names. 2 of them were killed, Arnold Christiansen and Johnny Pohe, and Mike Shand and Leo Trent survived the Great Escape. It was actually, it's not very correct, it was like here, the real stove, because we excavated this area. So now, now we see the whole distance, the whole length of. I would say archaeological work, because they dig in the topsoil.
We tried to fly our drone up, and the intention was to go all the way to the little white sign in the distance, which is the end of Harry, and show you the the entire length of the tunnel, but it proved to be more difficult to fly the drone through the trees than I thought. So we then had the idea of flying it up high and flying across the top of the trees, just to give you some idea of how long Harry was. And then, of course, right down to the exit.
So this is the perimeter. The perimeter would be like the electric line,
Right.
the same spot here. So this is the part outside the camp. This is old road. You can still see the old cobblestone road, and we will go that way to see the wooden horse, which is to the east. Now, I'm not sure if you could see this, but there was a first part. You can see there is a perimeter here, the outside perimeter, and there is an inside perimeter here.
Oh yes, I can see that.
Which was over there, because this small part was kind of administration part of the compound.
Right.
With the cooler, the baseball, still
Yes.
between with the baseball, which is on the right. And by the way,
Okay.
the tower was built in 2011 to commemorate. In 2014 to commemorate 70th anniversary of the Great Escape. It was also built by the Royal Air Force, but the original tower was right here, and you still see the original foundations of the tower. So that's the original tower. So you can see the distance, how close was the exit.
We couldn't resist climbing up to the guard tower.
From up here you could see how close the exit to the tunnel Harry was to the guard tower and the perimeter fence.
Okay. We are now in the administration part of the compound, which was called the Vorlager, and you can see now the cooler, the camp's prison for the bad boys, for those who try to escape. So you can see the main corridor, the main hallway, and the rooms on the right and on the left. And this building served also as a storage room for the Red Cross parcels. So in the back was the big distribution center of the Red Cross parcels. So there were about 20 single rooms for those who try to escape, and it was always busy, always full, not only because they tried to escape all the time, but also because sometimes they really wanted to come here to have some privacy, because when the prisoners lived in overcrowded rooms, sometimes they needed desperately some privacy. So they did something wrong in a camp, they said something rude to the German guard, and they were sent to the cooler for a few days. According to the commandant's memoirs, he said that this kind of punishment didn't work at all here, because sometimes really the prisoners they really wanted to come here to spend some time in one single room. Famous from the movie, and the iconic scene of Steve McQueen sitting in the cooler with a baseball. So that's the building.
Then it was off to our next cache, which was in the cooler. Can you see where it was hidden?
Good. Here we are. Found another one.
We then went down to see the railway station, but it was being renovated. But it was good to look around and see where the prisoners had tried to board train. We went through an underground passage that passed under the platforms and up to find the cache. We then went to see a memorial built by the prisoners themselves to commemorate the 50 who were murdered by the Gestapo on Hitler's orders, and the New Zealanders' names were there.
So this is the cross, also built by the prisoners, and the plaque, which says that the memorial was erected by the prisoners of war, and the dates of the war, which is 1939 and 1948, empty space. They didn't finish the date because they didn't know how long the war will.
Then we went to get another cache just outside the memorial.
The escape under the wooden horse took place about a year earlier, and the prisoners carried out a gymnastic vaulting horse with one of the prisoners hidden up inside, and each day they dug a little bit more of the tunnel, then took the vaulting horse back and put it away. The sand from the tunnel was hidden up inside the vaulting horse.
So we're going to make a modern horse more like the old one, using some tools maybe to create, because the original vaulting horse was made from the Red Cross boxes. So we need to make this to look more like the original.
Excellent.
Soon, probably.
Yeah.
We then followed Marek to the site of the tunnel.
That's very good. Thank you very much. So again, follow me. When we did the GPR, the horse was about here. It was part of sport field, and you can see that building, which was canteen, which is still here. We are standing right in front of the canteen. There was a library here, some facilities for the prisoners, and they kept the horse in that building every day. So every day they moved horse outside. This is one of my markers. That's the exit of the wooden horse tunnel. So, according to the GPR examination of this area, we found the exit of the wooden horse tunnel, which was right just near the perimeter of the camp. And the escape was about 7:30 p.m. 29 October of 1943. And just 2 hours later, one of the German guards, he fell down the hole. He discovered the hole. So they've learned that there was an escape, and they started to count the prisoners and to learn how many escaped. They were not able to count them properly because all these prisoners made it very difficult. They changing the positions, and they were changing positions. And finally, next morning, the Germans finally realized how many and who exactly escaped, and then they started to look for them, and that's how it goes.
3 escaped, is that?
Successfully, yeah. 3 men escaped. They escaped to Sweden.
Do you get many people coming back who are actually here? Like a lot? It would be a while ago now, I suppose.
You mean prisoners?
Prisoners, yes.
Few, yes.
Few.
Yeah. Mostly we have relatives, children of the prisoners, who granddaughters, grandsons. However, we had a few veterans who were here. I've met them. We still have Charles Clark, Air Commodore Charles Clark, who is the president of the association. So he visits us at least twice a year. So, and he's 95.
Thanks very much for showing us around.
My pleasure. Thank you so
Really
much.
enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Then we left the camp and went into Zagan to the tank headquarters to find the last cache. There are lots of places to hide a magnetic nano on a tank. Where do you think it was hidden?
Well, that brings us to the end of the cache walk. Hope you enjoyed seeing the caches and the New Zealanders' involvement in the 2 escapes.
And remember, the great places geocaching can take you. And don't forget to go geocaching.